Hey, peace, family. Yeah, I'm just here to do this little video. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but this is just a little piece of an article that I've read from Zora, and the title is called Jemele Hill. Jemele Hill. Jemele Hill on the unique obstacles Kamala Harris must overcome. Written by Erica Alexander. Of course, it's by Jemele Hill as told by Erica Alexander. And this question really stands out because this is the same type of question that Bernie Sanders encountered during the 2016 elections. During the 2016 Democratic presidential primaries. And a lot of people think Bernie Sanders' disconnect with black voters is the reason why he lost to Hillary Rodham Clinton. You know, perhaps that may be because at that time, the ADOS movement wasn't really in full swing yet. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even excuse me. I didn't even hear about ADOS until around late last year, earlier this year. You know, so it is at a fever pitch now to where there's a good possibility that less than 90% of us will vote for a Democratic candidate. You know, of course, we know now that not only the Republicans, but the Democrats are playing us far more than the Republicans are. So some of us, there's going to be those of us who are not even going to vote for either party. We either going to vote down ballot or we're not going to vote at all. You know what I'm saying? And I think both of those are great ideas. You know what I'm saying? Whatever floats your boat, you know, feel free to do that. You know, I would agree with you regardless. You know what I'm saying? But personally for me, any candidate that doesn't present a black agenda, I'm not going to vote for, period. I don't care how good their policies sound. You know what I'm saying? These other policies that you got to include white people and everybody else, you know, it just seems nonsense to me now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't expect every black person to understand, and I definitely don't expect white people to understand. You know, but that's where I as an American descendant of slavery is going towards. Yeah. But this is the article here, and so this is the question: what's your analysis of why Kamala Harris doesn't seem to be catching on with black voters? And you know what's interesting? Just to read a little bit of what Jemele Hill says, she is totally clueless as to why Kamala Harris is not getting a lot of the black vote. She seems to forget that the American descendants of slavery are a political force now to be reckoned with. A political force that is rejecting all candidates that refuse to address the issues of mass incarceration, and other issues relating to reparations for ADOS. You know what I'm saying? As a factor as to why Kamala Harris is not able to garner most of the black vote. Same thing applies to Cory Booker. Cory Booker is definitely not getting a lot of support from ADOS. Not at all. I mean, shoot, yeah, he's probably at a point where his campaign is about to go defunct, and don't be surprised to find out if his campaign goes defunct within the coming months. It may be the end of this year, or it could be early next year. You know, yeah. But yeah, just to read a little bit, Jemele Hill says it's a little bit baffling because if you change her race, or certainly if you change her gender, it would seem like in many ways she would be the ideal candidate. Before I continue on, before I continue on, had we not been hoodwinked by Barack Obama as a presidential candidate, there would be no way people like Kamala Harris would be running for president and to be able to last as long as she has up until this point. And the reason why some people like Jemele Hill would think that she would be the ideal candidate is the fact that she's very similar to Hillary Rodham Clinton as far as being very tough is concerned, as far as her acting masculine is concerned, as far as being tough on crime is concerned, because you got to remember that Kamala Harris is an actual prosecutor. Hillary Clinton was never a prosecutor, but she is, just like her husband, pretty tough on crime. In which her Hillary Clinton's husband's policies have led to the mass incarceration of my brothers and sisters of the ADOS family. You know, so yes, Kamala Harris is Hillary Clinton in that way. Also, Kamala Harris is another part of Kamala Harris is like Barack Obama, in which she is seen as the transformative type of candidate to be able to transcend race and politics. You know, the so-called the so-called post-racial era or something like that. You know, in which of course we still have racism, but to say that we living in the post-racial era, I would think that racism would have ended already. But it was the appearance that racism ended already because Barack Obama was the so-called first black president. You see what I'm saying? So they throwing that around. I mean, it would be better to say that Barack Obama is a biracial president. You know what I'm saying? Because personally, I don't see him as a black person. He certainly doesn't think as an American descendant of slavery. He certainly doesn't think like one, nor was he born as one, because his father is from Africa, and his mother is from the state of Kansas. His white mother, that is. So, post-racial, I can't remember what the name of that, post-racial something, you know, but, that's all a misnomer. Regardless, it's an oxymoron to be post-racial. Especially when racism is still here. The reason why I say it's an oxymoron, because as long as white people are running this society, racism is not going to end. If it's not racism within the people who make up the dominant society, their system, that the dominant society, the descendants of the dominant society have created, is oppressing towards those who are not Caucasian. So that's how Kamala Harris is more like Barack Obama, because of that multi-ethnicity or biracial or biracialness or whatever you want to call it. But now the thing is, since we have learned the lesson of making that mistake of getting Obama elected, we're not falling. Most of us who are ADOS are not falling for the tricks any longer. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely not falling for the tricks any longer, because we can see through Kamala Harris. We can see through Cory Booker. We can see through any of the other candidates the Democrats throw at us. And we're not impressed by either one of them. Now, some within ADOS are endorsing Marianne Williamson, and that's just because she's the only candidate who has talked about reparations for ADOS. You know what I'm saying? She has actually gone on the ball and gave us a dollar amount as to how much the estimates would be. But we could negotiate with her in raising that dollar amount. You know what I'm saying? Whenever she gets in contact with Dr. Sandy Darity and some of our other black scholars who understand this racial wealth gap that we have been living in for such a long time. So, yeah. So, as you may see, Jemele Hill is really giving Kamala Harris this much praise, without understanding that most of her people who look like her, most of the people who look like her really don't agree with Kamala Harris being the ideal presidential candidate. And let's just say this is not just a knock on her. It's an indictment to all the Democratic candidates. I mean, shoot. Now, if President Trump decides to offer reparations for ADOS, you know what I'm saying? Even if it includes some white people who will be a part of the reparations package, some of us as ADOS will probably vote for him. Personally, myself, if he has to do a reparation package that includes white people, I don't think I will still vote for Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I'm a little bit different. And I'm sure some of my fellow ADOS brothers and sisters may agree with me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not impressed at the fact that Kamala Harris went to Howard University and pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha, the oldest black sorority in this nation. That's all cute. That's good for resume stuff, you know. Okay. I mean, shit, hell. Uh, uh, Look at Hillary Clinton. She's got an impressive resume too, when she ran for president back in 2016. Yeah, she's got a pretty good resume. But guess what? There was a lot of black people who, especially under 40 years of age, did not vote for her. I couldn't even get myself to vote for her because I know what she's about. I know what she's about as far as foreign policy is. You know what I'm saying? She pretty much be extended what Barack Obama started. And I don't think Kamala Harris is being held to a different standard. As ADOS, we hold Kamala to the same standard that we hold Joe Biden, that we hold Elizabeth Warren, and any of the other white candidates that the Democrats are throwing at us. So through and through, as we read through, if we was to read through this whole thing, Jemele Hill really does not make sense. And I could see why a lot of people call her an agent. I could see why. Because she really does not make sense. And you can't use the Obama thing any longer because most of us ADOS who are under 40 years of age, you know what I'm saying, we're not drinking that Obama juice any longer. We're not drink. We have unhypnotized ourselves from drinking that Obama juice and looking at things at a completely different aspect now. We see politics now as an exchange. If you do not come to us and offer us something that we can agree to as ADOS, we're not going to vote for you. I don't care if you're running for president. I don't give a damn if you're running for motherfucking city council. We're not going to vote for you. Sorry, but we're not sorry. If that makes sense to everyone, which I'm sure it does. So, yes. Kamala Harris is not the ideal candidate. Um, like I said before, there's debate with there's some ADOS who are putting their hat behind Marianne Williamson. Not a bad choice. Personally, I think she's the best choice in my opinion. The second best choice, in my opinion, I would say Andrew Yang. You know what I'm saying? And right behind him is Tulsi Gabbard. You know, but either way, regardless, we really don't have a candidate that is going to go all out for ADOS. It's going to go all out in giving us reparations, which white America prefers not to give us reparations. They hoping that within the next generation that we will be so low in wealth that we can't produce any more children. That's what they're counting on. That's exactly what they're counting on. Whether that's going to happen, we're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah. Yeah, so that's all I really want to say. Uh Feel free to leave your comments and I will be reading them and I will be dropping some input on them. Other than that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.